When you were a kid, there were certain gifts that you dreaded getting, like underwear. That all changed in 1978 when Fruit of the Loom launched Underoos.
You can buy Underoos where you buy underwear. It's underwear that is fun to wear.
Now kids could don skivvies featuring the personas of their favorite movie, television, and comic book characters.
Wearing Underoos is fun, and you can choose from more than one. There's Wonder Woman, and Shazam, there's Aquaman, there's Spider-Man. Underoos are fun to wear, yeah, something super new in underwear.
From Spider-Man, Superman, and Wonder Woman to Luke Skywalker, Barbie, and Scooby-Doo, Underoos had both boys and girls covered. But with all the options available, I started to wonder, which IPs never got the Underoos treatment? My mind went straight to the most unlikely franchise ever associated with a line of merchandise targeted at children. 1979's Alien. Believe it or not, this R-rated movie actually had a number of products produced that were aimed specifically at kids, like the infamous 12-inch Alien action figure from Kenner.
Kenner presents new Alien action figure.
Bayman's glow! Quick, shut the airlock! The alien's locked out now! He got through! Shh! Give up! Alien can't be beat!
There were other Alien Kids products that we'll get to, but with all the Alien offerings, surprisingly or unsurprisingly, they never made any Alien Underoos. What would that have looked like? Well, we're about to find out, because today in the Art Lab, we're creating Underoos based on the 1979 classic film, Alien. So join me, Scott Serkland, in the Art Lab. Let's suit up. Here we are once again in the Art Lab, and while it may seem strange to release a line of kids' toys and games based on a rated R movie, in the 1980s, this was not uncommon. However, toy companies usually skirted criticism by parents by creating a separate kid-friendly cartoon or comic book series to accompany the toy line. Remember the animated Rambo?
Rambo.
What about RoboCop?
After being mortally wounded in the line of duty, Officer Murphy is outfitted by OCP with bulletproof titanium robotic parts. He has become the ultimate super cop, RoboCop.
And let's not forget the Toxic Avenger.
With my mom, Tutu and girl! Wow! Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Crusaders, Toxic!
This was a brilliant way to water down rated R content for children. However, this was not the case for 1979's Alien. In space, no one can hear you scream, but you could definitely hear the cry of many outraged parents at this line of licensed products. As for me and my friends, we were 100% on board. I was way too young to go to the theater and see Alien, but that didn't stop me from sneaking a peek when the film hit HBO, and my reason for wanting to see the movie had a lot to do with the Alien products that I collected as a kid. I collected the Topps Alien trading cards. I had this really cool jigsaw puzzle that came in an alien egg. They also made Alien board games, Alien target practice toys, and a few other Alien toys for kids.
You know, for kids.
But the holy grail was, of course, that 12-inch Alien action figure from Kenner.
Another triumph for Alien.
Alien action figure, new from Kenner.
Every kid I knew wanted one. The trick was getting your parents to buy it. I never had one myself, but I had friends that did, and I remember thinking this would have made the ultimate foe for my $6 million man action figures.
Bionic Eye, A-OK. $6 million man, ready for action.
New bionic transport and repair station sold separately. The $6 Million Man, new from Kenner.
But I digress. My point is, they never made any Alien Underoos. So, without any further delay, let's combine the amazing Underoos with the groundbreaking sci-fi horror masterpiece, Alien. Underoos were the brainchild of entrepreneur Larry Weiss, a poor kid from the farm who grew up reading comic books directly off the spinner racks of the drugstore where his uncle worked as an assistant pharmacist. In addition to inventing Underoos, Weiss contributed to the success of several other products. In fact, Underoos isn't even the most well-known license endeavor he developed. While working as a project manager for Post Cereal in the 1960s, he secured the license from Hanna-Barbera to rebrand the lackluster Sugar Rice Crinkles to Post Cocoa and Fruity Pebbles, a successful collaboration that is just as popular today.
Ooh, Henry! Hate to leave you hanging. Post Fruity Pebble cereal with Berry Blue, part of this complete breakfast.
The idea for Underoos came from Davy Crockett's coonskin hat, which was successfully licensed from Disney and became a phenomenal success. Just like the kids of the 50s could dress up and become their favorite King of the Wild Frontier, 70s kids could become superheroes. That was the plan anyway. In the beginning, Weiss struggled and was turned down by both Hanes and Scott Paper Company, but eventually he struck a deal with Fruit of the Loom to bring the superhero-themed undies to the market. The name Underoos was coined by Weiss's 9-year-old son, who blurted the phrase out after seeing some of his father's sketches. Call it perfect timing, but with the release of Star Wars that same year in 1977 and Superman the movie set to premiere in 1978, Underoos catapulted to success. But at the height of its success, another movie made its debut in 1979. I'm of course speaking about Alien. Approaching this project, my main goal is the same as many other projects that I've tackled here on the channel: authenticity. So, using reference photos of vintage Underoo packaging, I began the process of painstakingly recreating the package design from scratch, matching typography, illustrations, ad copy, and visual design elements as closely as possible. My plan is to create 4 different alien-themed Underoos, 2 for boys, 2 for girls. I use a few different programs to accomplish this: Clip Studio Paint for drawing, Adobe Illustrator for design and typography, and Photoshop to add color to my illustrations, and photo retouching and manipulation. That being said, I could easily Photoshop my designs onto a photo of a pair of underwear, but that's not how we do it here in the Art Lab. We're actually going to make tangible Underoos that we can photograph from the box and stuff inside our finished package. This is the fun part for me, creating the character illustrations. While some Underoos packaging featured photographs of movie characters, others featured illustrations, which is what I prefer. So, I'll do my best to capture the likenesses of these characters before moving on and designing the art that will be printed on the underwear itself. Are you a fan of the Alien franchise? Which movie is your favorite? Leave a comment below. Like if you had or wanted Underoos as a kid. Let me know what characters you had. My favorite was the Spider-Man Long John thermal Underoos. I even had a Spider-Man ski mask that I could wear with them.
Underoos!
I'm adding some color to the character illustrations. While the comic characters of the original Underoos were colored in a flat style, the movie characters, like this Luke Skywalker Underoos, had some shading, so that's the look I'm going to mimic. Now to design the art for the apparel. Again, looking at what the original designs looked like. Some featured images of the characters, but the ones I preferred were the ones that looked like the character's costume. The original designs weren't a one-to-one representation of the costume, but were in line with the spirit of the character. For example, the Nostromo patch on Ripley's jumpsuit was actually on the sleeve, but I felt it important to move it to the front of the outfit since there were no printing on the sleeves of the original Underoos. Also, Ripley's name wasn't stitched to the jumpsuit, but it's a good way to identify our hero. Next, we'll add some color to our t-shirt design. Playing on the whole idea for making licensed kids products for a rated R movie, I thought it would be fun to take it to the extreme by making Kane's shirt design feature the xenomorph chestbuster bursting out of the shirt. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen Alien. And if you haven't, go out and watch it directly after this video. We'll just add some color, making sure the red of the blood really pops. Next, we're going to take the various elements we've designed so far and combine them. Now we're going to print out our shirt and underwear designs on printable iron-on vinyl transfer paper. One of the challenges I found was sourcing matching shirts and underwear in the colors I wanted. So I ended up ordering white underwear that I'll dye the colors that I need. It's been a while since I've dyed clothing, but I have done it before. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a lime green lab coat online or in stores. I'll let these dry before I apply the transfer. Okay, I'm going to apply the images to the garments. It's possible to do this using a standard iron, but I was able to borrow this heat press from a friend. I may have to think about getting one of these for the art lab. It's pretty cool. We have all the various elements we need, so let's photograph our underoos and add those images to our package design. I'll be adding a link to the template for this box in my latest newsletter. If you'd like to subscribe and get free digital downloads every month, plus the free Comic Maker Starter Kit with tons of digital tools that you can use in your own projects, you can sign up at my website. In addition, select members of my Patreon community receive additional templates and layered Photoshop files for all of the projects we create. Join us today on Patreon. There's a link in the description. Now let's print and assemble our Underoos boxes. I'm printing the designs on oversized paper. I'll use an X-Acto knife and a metal ruler to cut everything out. I'll lightly score the folds by adding less pressure to my cuts, being careful not to cut all the way through the paper. You can use either glue or double stick tape to adhere the flaps to the inside the box. Now to stuff our folded underoos inside the box. If you told me a year ago that I would be making underoos in a video, I would have laughed, but here you go. I mean, how cool is this? Here, have a closer look. Well, there you go. Another retro reventification here in the Art Lab. I think I might upload a few of these alien Underoos to my online store at Serkworks. And it's just a novelty product, so there probably wouldn't be different sizes you could pick from. You know, it's just for fun. Or maybe I'll just list the boxes that contain the vinyl iron-ons and you guys can do it yourself. And don't forget, if you happen to be at the Megalomaniac tier on my Patreon, you have access to all the digital files for everything I created that you can use in your own projects. Anyway, if you want to see what I'll think up next, pop the like and subscribe button like a chest buster bursting out of a doomed space explorer. And if you want to see me reverse engineer another childhood classic, you can click on this video right up here.
Oh no, not again.